closing down, but restricting passage through the Strait of Hormuz if you're an American ally and if you're not, and if you try to pay with American dollars. No, you're only allowed to pay for their oil in Chinese yuan. So that's their way of not only attacking us through passage and through trade, but, economically as well. So, yeah, that's why I would say not really. And if we're hurting them, well, trust me, brother, they're finding a way to hurt us. But all right, though.
We do. And that's they don't have voters to answer to, and we do. And that's the constraint. It's an asymmetric constraint that we are under right now that is causing some of these problems.
And that's so critical to understand, because these folks will fight to the death. They will just keep going and going. So the assumption that we're going to be able to come up with a reasonable diplomatic compromise, I don't know that that's baked into the folks that we are dealing with here. And that you're right, they have no voters to respond to. This is, but here in the States, I think we're seeing the impact of this already as it relates to the midterms coming up. I mean, look at the Republicans. You all just lost something in Trump's backyard. I mean, if that doesn't send a message about how freaked out and scared and worried the American people are, I don't know what would.
And I'm be real with you, it's not because of, MAGA or people on the right going to the left. They're not voting for Democrats. No, they're just not voting because they've been, I'll be real with you, discouraged to vote. They kind of went all in on Trump, and look what Trump is doing. And there's all these bad turnouts. And honestly, now the Democratic parties feel more emboldened to go out there and vote now. Like Democrats who probably sat it out in the last special elections, they're all in now. And this is why. We're seeing bad voter turnout. It's not that we're voting for the left, because trust me, we don't like the left either. We're just choosing not to vote.
I feel like Trump's response indicates that he understands that, because he says that the Strait is going to open up once they stop fighting the war. He says we don't really have a role in ensuring that Iran doesn't control it. He's like, I wash my hands of it, and it'll just go back to the status quo pre-war once we're done.
First of all, I think making national security decisions based on a state house result in Florida in an off-year election is not a great way to make national security policy. That would be my rebuttal to that.
No, but it's the impact, not the decision-making. It's the impact.
Number two, generally, you want the commander-in-chief, in my opinion, to make national security decisions based on one thing. Is this in the best interest of protecting the American people? The decision he obviously made was that I've set a red line. They're not going to have nuclear weapons, and I'm tired of them for 47 years terrorizing the world, shooting us with missiles, shooting our allies with missiles, having this aggressive Navy. And they crossed a line with him, and now he's enforcing it. And to say, well, if gas goes up a nickel or we have a state house race in Florida, we can no longer operate national security policy, I think is an extremely short-sighted and cynical way to assess this. At the end of this, if they're totally defanged, if they meet our objectives here in terms of nukes and missiles and Navy and exporting terror, if there are new people in charge who are willing to abide by some kind of an agreement, that is a net positive for us, for the world, And that's what we're waiting for.
That's the argument that we heard the last time he attacked them and they declared victory. They said they annihilated their capabilities. So were they wrong? Were they lying? Were they misinforming us? What was the situation before? And then how did it deteriorate in such a short amount of time from then and now? We're talking a few months went by, and now there's this threat. We got to get them right now. They've never, by the way, explained what that threat was. They've never given any information to Americans.
Yeah, never really gave what that imminent threat was at all. They just said, look, man, Israel said they were going to attack Iran, and we had to follow them up because Iran was going to attack all of our assets in the region. And I mean, yeah, Iran said that days ago. So that's why we're kind of all confused. Is like, the thing is, we should have held Israel on a leash and be like, no, don't do it, or we're not going to fund it. And they just sat down. But for some reason, we want to follow them up into it. And now we're over here trying to create this illusion that Iran was an imminent threat when there weren't. Oh, guys, and let's not forget to double tap that screen, man. We got about 90 y'all watching. Let's get those likes up to 9 by double tapping that screen.
People about why it was.
Well, wait, they do have missiles that can reach most of Europe. You know that.
Right. But the last
you think it's good or bad?
But the last time they did that, they said we annihilated it.
Right.
That's literally the words
strikes.
that they
Those
used.
were
We
specific strikes on
annihilated their
nuclear
capability. That was this is the problem the president.
You want
has.
Iran to
Hold
have
on,
missiles
this is the
with
problem
nuclear
the
weapons
president.
that can
The
hit
president
Europe.
made
Sounds like
set an expectation. I don't. The president
Okay,
said
then
an
why are you
expectation
upset?
that I'm not upset. The president said
like it.
he has annihilated them. That is the expectation. That is the goalpost that he's being measured against, his own words, his own hyperbole. So now that he comes back and says, actually, that wasn't what happened. Now this time we got it right. This time we've all blown them all up. Exactly. He has no credibility here because he already used all the platitudes.
So you're
other
just
thing that
prejudging
has-
it based on your own political views.
No,
not
we're
what
judging
facts
based
are.
on what he said.
But he said that wasn't true. And no one's saying change national, international policy based on the politics. I'm just saying the American people are raising real questions.
But the most important people who believe in
the
now.
issue is, I really think that the assumption that we are going to be able to root out Iran as a terror entity based on these new folks who have come in, I hope that would be true, but that's just a hope. I don't see the evidence that supports
There's a group of
that.
people out there now that believe President Trump, what he says, right? They are the Iranian people who witnessed their military get decimated, their navy get decimated, their ability to shoot down American aircraft, all the things that the Iranian regime promised them they could do. It was revealed that the emperor has no.
What are you talking about, bro? They pretty much restricted passes through the Strait of Hormuz. They're striking Israel. They're striking our assets in the region. I mean, what are you saying, bro? Like, yeah, we are hitting them hard, but they're still able to one play this asymmetric warfare, and two, still able to let off strikes. So what are you talking about? Like, yes, they are actually having some type of ground in this war. We're hitting them hard, but there's a reason why oil prices are up and other regions as well, like what liquid natural gas, bro, and helium because of this war. So yes, Iran is actually playing a pretty good game of asymmetric warfare. The problem is, how long could they play this game? And I mean, we don't know, because Iran's talking about we can do this for months. And I mean, I doubt that, but let's try to wrap it up as soon as possible if this is the mission. We wish we was never here, but since you guys want to stick us here, since you want to create all the excuses, then I mean, please show us a way through, because right now it kind of seems like we're about to get dragged in. We're about to get dragged into ground warfare. We have yet to secure their nuclear materials. They're still firing off rockets. I mean, the regime is still in power. What goals have been done? I mean, what goals have been completed? Where's the checklist?
Close. So whoever's ruling Iran in the next phase, they know that they can't hide behind this false idea that they have this military that's capable of standing up to America and Western allies.
Well, they just need a military capable of standing up to civilians. They still have machine guns. I mean,
I'm talking about the ability of other countries to ensure that they don't have nuclear capabilities. Everything they promised they can do was revealed to be false.
But Joe, you know what other emperor has no clothes is President Trump, who said that they had annihilated their nuclear capacity, and that was not true.
Margaret.
Yeah, I just want to say one point to Scott's point. We're just forgetting that days ago, the president was threatening to take out civilian infrastructure for the express purpose of opening the Strait of Hormuz. So I would offer that is one example where he is tying a military action to basically lowering gas prices. And that's wrong, in my opinion, for two reasons. One, this is long, boring legal opinion that you don't need, but basically civilian structures don't lose their protected status unless there's a specific military objective for it.
Yep.
Lowering gas prices isn't one of them. But two, the point that we all just discussed, the Iranian regime isn't worried about the damage to civilians. So that isn't going to resonate. I mean, it's unlawful for the president to threaten to harm civilians purposely, but it also just isn't effective strategically, because
I did say that tweet from the president was a bit concerning. I'm like, hold on, bro. Could somebody tell the president to chill a little bit? Like, I get it. You want to get things done quickly, but war crimes, bro. Like, if you attack their energy infrastructure, yes, that's going to cause more harm to civilians than the IRGC. If you go ahead and attack their water desalination centers, that's going to cause more harm to civilians than the IRGC. And that is going to be considered a war crime. And I mean, bro, and then if he loses the midterms, he's cooked. They're going to spend this whole time impeaching him, and they're going to go right back to this little conflict right here and go like, yeah, you know what you did right here? Yeah, war crimes. You're gone.
Doesn't care.
Look, I think tomorrow night he's going to have to lay out military stuff, but also talk to the country about who he's talking to, what they're telling him, and what a post-military action scenario looks like here.
Thank you, Scott. Now, all right. Now he's being a bit reasonable with that one. Like, tell us who you're talking to. Give us names. Is it a cutoff or dissenters of the IRGC or the government that's gaining a large crowd? Like, who are you talking to? Because just saying, oh, regime change has been effectuated because we killed a bunch of leaders, that's not regime change, my friend. But Okay, you're saying that you're talking to some people, so tell us who you're talking to. Please.
To include some conversation about the Strait of Hormuz. My impression is the other Gulf states are tired of Iran, harassing everybody and making the region have instability. They're probably going to have to be involved in this. I'm as interested as anyone to see what the president has to say about that.
Let me play. This is Pete Hegseth talking to Trump's base, to the people who are concerned that what could be next, if they try to finish this in a particular way, is boots on the ground.
As far as President Trump and boots on the ground, I don't understand why the base, which they have already, they understand, wouldn't have faith in his ability to execute on this. We're not going to foreclose any option. You can't fight and win a war if you tell your adversary what you are willing to do or what you are not willing to do, to include boots on the ground. Maybe negotiations work, or maybe there's a different approach. The point is to be unpredictable in that. Certainly not let anybody know what you're willing to do or not do.
I mean, look, you can say that, but the American people also have a say. And it's very unpopular to put boots on the ground.
It's like, that's the thing. Here's the thing. We said a lot of even people in MAGA who still in support of this war said, yo, there's boots on the ground. They're done. So if Hegseth even saying is like, oh, yeah, we'll just put boots on the ground. We can't let them know what we're unwilling to do. Well, here's the problem, Hegseth. We know that. But they know that in America, we do not want boots on the ground. Even the people who are supporting these airstrikes and all this good stuff don't want boots on the ground. So if they put boots on the ground, this war isn't going to be the most popular thing that Trump has done. I mean, probably the most unpopular thing Trump has done.
Not to mention that there's a good reason for that, because it would be extremely dangerous. So, yeah, I mean, to Scott's point, I mean, does the president have to level with the American people about what the expectations are?
Look, do me a favor and double tap that screen and like the video, or smash the like button if you're watching horizontally. Appreciate the support, guys. Let's keep it going.
When we're talking about the MAGA base, we have to compare that to the experience that gave rise to the MAGA movement, the never-ending wars, a 20-year engagement in Afghanistan, a 15-year or so engagement in Iraq. That's the parameter which I think this argument is framed. It's not framed in whether it's 5 weeks or 6 weeks or 7 weeks. And as far as boots on the ground, I've said this every time I've been on this show. If it takes some American troops in a limited engagement to secure nuclear enriched material, I think that would be a wise use of American military power. Is that the same thing as nation building? Is that the same thing as occupying cities? Is that the same thing as occupying a country for 20 years? Absolutely not. And I think the American public would be smart enough to see the difference between
I think that the American public would really need to understand.
Yeah, if you put boots on the ground, then I'm gonna be real with you, most likely going to try to, contain their nuclear facilities and make sure they can't reach that enriched uranium that's either buried or may possibly destroyed or whatever. Who knows who knows the status of that right now? We don't know. We just know that we hit the facilities and we really don't know if they moved it. We don't know if we destroyed it. We don't know if it's buried. So yeah, that's the thing. We don't have the handle on their nuclear capabilities or their nuclear facilities, or where they're even at in the nuclear process. We're actually paused that. Well, we know they got 60% enrichment. Shoot, that might have even been destroyed.
And how dangerous what you're talking about is, because it is not just a small contingent of troops to remove nuclear materials. Every time we've talked to military experts about what it would take to do that, it is extraordinarily difficult, extraordinarily dangerous because of the location of these materials, and it would require thousands of troops.
Yes, which is why these types of military operations, these offensive operations, starting a war should be going through Congress. This is basically a surprise war that we all woke up one day and realized the country was in. And now we're talking about committing tens of thousands of troops on the ground. If it is properly authorized by Congress, that's a different position that we're in.
There's been a conversation nationally about it, and that did not happen.
Well, and the president here again is being measured against expectations he set with his own base and his own party. He campaigned on no more endless wars, no more Middle East, no more spending good money after bad there. And the insurance run does a complete 180 without